Hi everyone, I'm Craig Wade, the Sector Manager for Health, Science and Social Care at NCFE. What I'd like to do today is talk you through the specifics that underpin the Health and Science T-level. So in today's presentation, what I'd like to do is give you an overview of the Health and Science T-level, where we'll focus on the route, pathway and occupational specialisms of all of the different components that make up the Health and Science T-level. We'll also have a look at the guided learning hours. We'll touch base on some of the assessment methods, and we'll also explore the health and science grading and progression opportunities for our students. And we'll also have a quick look at the industry placements that underpin the T-level journey. And my final slide today will be about the support that we can offer you at NCFE in preparation for the delivery of these T-levels. I know it's already been explored in today's presentation about the structure of a T-level programme, but I'd just like to spend a couple of moments exploring how it focuses for the Health and Science T-level. So as you'll see here, you've got that core element of the Health and Science T-level. And this is what will be the focus within that first year. So all students on the Health and Science T-level will do those core elements. But what makes our T-level unique is we also have the three underpinning pathway elements within that first year core, which is health, healthcare, science and science. So all students will study health and science, and then they will also have their individual pathways of either health, healthcare, science or science. And then this leads on into their second year where they will focus on their occupational specialisms. And those occupational specialisms will fit in one of those three pathways. We have the industry placement opportunities as part of the T-level journey. And this is a mandatory requirement of the qualification, which we'll explore a little bit later on today. English and Maths is fully embedded into the T-level of Health and Science, but it is also that requisite of the qualification as well, that the students fully achieve their English and Maths as part of the qualification if they don't have it already. There are other additional requirements on some T-levels, but currently within Health and Science, we don't have any additional underpinning qualifications that sit within the qualification. This may happen in the future, but at the moment, there are no others within Health and Science. So what you'll see here are the three pathways that make up the core element of health and science. So that first element of what students will learn is underpinned by health and science, but then they will focus on one of the three pathways, which is either health, healthcare science or science. And then as the student progresses into the second year, this is when they focus on one of the occupational specialisms that sits within that pathway. And what you'll see here is all of the occupational specialism that were originally outlined by the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education. But what you'll see on my next slide is that some of these are currently either still in development or not ready for a September 2021 launch. All of those in bold black there today are ready for launch this September in 2021. And you will find all of the specifications and the supporting documentation and resources available now live on our Qual Hub webpage for all of those in bold ready for your delivery this September. So what will the students actually focus on in that first year core? So as I previously stated, they will be doing that core element of health and science. So all students will focus on these bullet points here as part of their core delivery in the first year. And these elements here all come under the first assessment of those two externally marked exams with us. What you'll see on the next slide is what then is broken down into one of the three different pathways. And we have the three different pathways and all of the different pathways are similar in their contents, but they are bespoke to obviously their relevant pathway. So for here, you have the health one. We have the healthcare science one, which has a similar focus, but is obviously then more specific to the healthcare science. And you'll see a similar pattern on the next slide for science. So as you'll see, all three of them have a similarities in their presence, but they focus on their individual sector pathways that are related to them. And this is what also makes up those core element exams in the first year for students. So what we have here is the guided learning hours for the health and science T-level. And what you'll see is that the core first year of the delivery is, regardless of the different pathways, has a different element of guided learning hours. So everyone will study those first elements of health and science, and then we've got the pathways of health, healthcare science and science. but they are the full delivery guided learning hours for that first year core, depending on which pathway you decide to offer. In the second year, depending on what occupational specialism you decide to offer, it ranges between 616 and 795 hours. And these are the full guided delivery hours for each of the occupational specialisms within that second year. But what you'll see there that I've got in bold, the guided learning hours only relates to the technical teaching and doesn't include the delivery or the industry work placement hours or any additional English or maths hours that a student may need to embark on. So those guided learning hours are purely for the technical teaching. So again, I know the assessments has been explored generically previously in the presentation, but I'd just like to spend a little bit of time focusing on how they will look for health and science. So what you'll have initially is those 2 externally assessed exams focusing on the core and pathway elements of health and science, and then either health, healthcare science, or science, depending on which pathway your centre or your students are studying. In that first year as well, you will also do the employer set project. Now, the employer set project has its purpose to ensure that you have the opportunity to apply core knowledge and skills to develop a substantial piece of work in response to an employer set brief that we have wrote. So we will give you that brief that has been set by employers that we are working with. The brief and the tasks are contextualized around an occupational area and are chosen by you ahead of the assessment window. And throughout the project, you're acting in the role relating to the field of your pathway. So whether that's a health specialist, a healthcare science specialist, or a science specialist. But the purpose is for you to have that opportunity to apply your core knowledge and skills through a theoretical based project that we will set for you. In the second year, all of the T-level programs have a variety of different assessment methods, and they all combined will determine the type of occupational specialism that you are working on. And all of those combined will then lead into the grading that you will achieve on your T-level journey. And again, I appreciate this slide has been shown today already, but it's important that we understand that the T-level for health and science will have UCAS points attached to it. And these UCAS points are fully aligned to an A-level equivalent program. So this is to ensure that our students on the T-level pathways of health and science will have the opportunity to progress to university, because we understand it's really important for those undergraduate students who maybe want to enter the profession of adult nursing will need to embark on an undergraduate program at university. For those who decide to enter the skilled employment workforce, then they will have that level 3 qualification as a T-level student to do that. And of course, there's that opportunity to enter the higher level apprenticeship frameworks as well, because obviously T-levels is set at that level 3 standard, so they could look at a level 4 or higher apprenticeship available to them. Industry work placements. Industry work placement will remain with the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education, but us at NCFE feel it's really important that we help and support you on this as much as possible, because it is part of the associated qualifications that we look after at NCFE. The industry work placements are a mandatory part of the T-level program, but they will be led by the centres. And it's that expectation that students will go out for a minimum of 315 hours with an external provider. It can be across 2 different providers, and it's great within our network within health and science that actually an NHS trust, a student could go to a hospital and have an opportunity to work on a variety of different wards or different related mechanisms within that trust, and that would only count as 1 provider. So then a student could then look at the private sector as well and maybe go work at a domiciliary or a private care home or whatever that may look like. And similar to the science sector as well, you know, they'll have the opportunity to expand their horizon by going with it up to a maximum of 2 different providers on their experience. And this is all important because it gives those students that valuable opportunity to put their learning into practice and develop their technical skills and become more employable. And it's those technical skills which will then be assessed back at the centre as part of some of those synoptic or OSCE-based skills assessments, which will have been enhanced at the placement, but will actually be assessed back at the centre. Most important thing for yourselves to take away today is this website, and it's our cash website that links you to all of our T-level information. So please use this as a starting platform if you have any additional questions or any information that you were trying to source in relation to the T-level journey. All of our information is there, and it will also take you through to Qual Hub, where all of our specifications and resources and additional information relating to the T levels are there for you. But what I'd like to do now is just say a massive thank you for taking the time to listen out to us, but share our contact details with you. So as previously stated, I'm Craig Wade, the Sector Manager for Health Science and Social Care, and my personal lines are there for you, both mobile and email address, and my two subject specialists, both in social care and health, are available for you. And we will be reaching out to the communities of the health and science sector and all of the providers looking to deliver T levels within our sectors over the next coming months and years to offer that sector specific support. But please use our email addresses and contact us with any questions that you may have, or go via your account executives and ask for a meeting with the sector managers, and we can set that up for you. But just for now, I'd just like to say thank you very much. Thank you for listening, and all the best for the future.